Elite Property Academy, Elite Investment Property Agent Certification Program, Module 2.4, Building Trust and Rapport. And following this module, you should be able to develop your own ability to gain trust and rapport to attract new clients everywhere you go at any time. So why are you so important in this equation? Now remember our 7 sales to a sale, or 7 steps. Step 2 is all about you and positioning you as the expert and why you're so vitally important to this whole process. First and foremost, people don't buy from people they like. They buy from people they trust. First comes like, then comes trust. Now, in this particular situation, when we're talking property and investment, we're talking large ticket items and a lot of money. Sometimes $500,000 plus. Now, for someone to feel comfortable to be able to invest that through you or via you, you absolutely must have trust and their confidence that you're doing it for the right reasons, you're giving them the right advice, and you're actually helping them for the right reasons. It comes back to the old adage, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So there's a fantastic book that's an absolute must read if you've never read it before, and it was written almost 100 years ago by Dale Carnegie, and that is How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a couple of core takeouts out of this book which are absolutely imperative for getting people to like you and having influence with them. What the book teaches is just as valuable today as it was nearly 100 years ago when it was first written. Some of these points include: become genuinely interested in other people, taking notice and interest in them. Most people don't care about anyone else but themselves, so when you start talking about you and what's important about you, they tend to fade out. They want to talk about them. For them, it's the most interesting thing. So we want conversation to be all about them. Find out and be interested about them, their likes, their dislikes, everything you know about them that will help you understand them. If they feel you've taken the time to get to know them, they will automatically start to like you. Another very simple thing that most people forget about a lot of the time is simply smiling. In this game and in life in general, people want to deal with happy, friendly people. And the first thing that instigates that is by smiling. When you smile and enter a room, people normally can't help but smile back at you. And it sets a great scene for the entire conversation or the relationship moving forward. Remember, that person's name to that person is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Now, how many times do you hear people say, I'm just no good at names? No one's good at names. It's a learnt skill and behavior and something you should absolutely develop. And again, if someone's going to spend $500,000 with you, you want to make sure that you remember their name and you use it often. Everyone, I think, is guilty of dropping this at some point and just skimming over it and not making a conscious effort. Be a good and active listener. Now, most people think they listen, but the reality is they don't give the person a chance to finish their conversation and then make sure that they fully and adequately understand what that client or person is trying to say. Jump in or start to rebut even before the client finishes what they're actively saying. So make sure you actively listen, take in, and make sure you firmly understand the information before you reply or respond. Talk in terms of the other person's interest. Again, it's all about them and what we can do for them and how we may be able to help them. It's all focused on them as a person. And finally, make that other person feel important. Prop them up, give them kudos. Don't be patronizing, and give them praise where praise is due. Now, these are all very simple, fundamental points, but how many people actively use them today? Not that many. Particularly the younger generation, all in the social media and iPads. None of them ever read these books or apply any of these strategies, yet wonder why life isn't working out for them. If you haven't read this book, I implore you, read this book today. It's as valuable today as it was when it's first written, and just by applying some of these simple techniques into your daily lives, just watch how people around you start to treat you differently and you start to get your way more often. How are other ways that we can quickly build rapport? Well, one powerful technique is what we call matching and mirroring, which is basically reflecting what the other person does. And again, this brings us into alignment because ultimately, to build rapport, we want them to think we're just like them. And on the basic fundamentals, this comes back to body gestures and what we're currently doing. So some of the things we can match and mirror is our physiology, our posture, and our physical mannerisms, our rate of speech. So speaking the same rate as the person we're talking to. If they're quick and fast and punchy or slow and methodical, we want to match that and align to it. The volume, are they loud or soft talkers? The tonality and pitch, make your voice sound like theirs. And use keywords and phrases that they repeat often. These are all, again, very simple things, but the more we align with the person, the more they will feel ease and feel like they trust you, and you'll build rapport a lot quicker. Now, many people out there that become great salespeople are what we call social chameleons. And as the name suggests, chameleons can adapt to any situation, and they tend to do this by nature without any thought. They simply match and mirror by default without having to give it much thought at all. Now, these social chameleons adapt to change to seem different personality types in different environments, and they're usually what we call influencers. We're going to talk to you more in the next section about different personality types and what these different personality types value and respond to best. But for now, just keep in mind social chameleons and how you can adapt to a chameleon in any situation to quickly adapt and make the people you're with or the person you're talking to feel immediately comfortable. Further building rapport. Rapport is all about coming back to finding commonality between one another. Now, if you ever get stuck, there's a little technique called form, and falling back to good form allows you to pick up some topic and continue rolling with the conversation seamlessly, effortlessly. Now, this is FORM, F-O-R-M, which is the acronym for family, occupation, relationships, and motivations. So if in doubt, fall back to one of these topics to start general light conversation. Nothing that can get too heated or debated, but things that are usually important to the people we're dealing with. Find commonality and start building on that together. And remember the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. Now, this simply means like attracts like, and where you find one person that has similar qualities and characteristics, there's a fair chance you'll find others. When we spoke about niching and finding your ideal clients, well, the reality is when you find one of your ideal clients, the chances are they will know more of the same, which will again help you form the great basis of a good referral-based business. The key elements to creating trust once we move past rapport and likability. And there's a couple of core elements that scientists have been able to identify which help build trust quickly in our relationships. First and foremost is knowing yourself and being confident in yourself, what you are, who you are, and what you're about. Believe in your intent and purpose, knowing that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons and your value and the service you provide is going to help your client. Know your value proposition and being able to accurately convey this. And again, once you know the value proposition, being able to talk it very clearly and simply so anyone can understand it will convey certainty and build trust. Alignment of agendas through effective questioning and understanding. In how to win friends and influence people is good questioning and talking in their general interests. Find out what their agenda is, what they're trying to achieve, and how we can adequately help them achieve that. Be dependable. Do what you say and honor your commitments. This includes following up, giving the information you said, and following through on everything you say you were going to do for that client. Building integrity. Demonstrate your moral principle. And giving examples when it's not all about the sale or deal for you, that you've been able to say it's not right for the client at the time, to give them examples that you're not there just for the money, you're there to legitimately help them achieve their goals. Create shared experiences together to again build emotional connections. And finally, be real, be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to express your vulnerability and your weaknesses. It makes you seem true, believable, and a lot more likable. To do. All the items you need to do to build trust and rapport, list them down and start to actively apply them into your daily life and business schedule. Prioritize them and consciously apply them to work through the 4 stages of competency to become a master rapport and relation building skills. Now, we've only just touched and skimmed on the surface of this and covered the key points. You need to go over these and identify these and actively apply them into what you're doing to be able to build trust. But a great starting point is starting with those books and those key points of how to get people to like you, how to build trust, and make sure you're applying this on a consistent basis through your daily lives, through your work, rest, and play.